Hello, it's the second channel vid. Just thought I'd do a brief overview thing of what's going on in my life right now. I'm taking this as a clip out of my mall walk because I'm in a place where I can sit down and breathe and think for a moment with a bit of a view. So the other day, of course, Sam, the brother who is the property violator, who was violent and assaulted me last September, just started doing more mind games and gaslighting. He just picked a random day of the week, started like, he closed the door for the cats and he started moving around a bunch of things he knows I use and making them hard to get on purpose just to spite me. Stressed me the fuck out all day. I made the bad decision to go and talk to Mum about it. But before that, after my assault, I made streams and videos about it. I basically believed that my family had, ended, essentially. It had disintegrated and there was no social cohesion, I suppose you could say, in the family anymore. But I was a bit iffy about it, and it's like, I thought maybe my mum, she saw me right in front of her get assaulted and punched in the neck across the room, and she immediately sided with Sam after he did it and started excusing his violence. And then Joe came out in his room and I asked Joe, would he do something like assault people? He just said, if he thought they deserved it, he would assault them. He wasn't talking about he would use violence in self-defense like 95% of people would. He was like, if he thought someone deserved it, he would preemptively attack them. So I can't, I haven't seen Joe be violent, and Joe doesn't do any of the property games. Joe hasn't violated any property, so I don't call Joe a property violator. He hasn't been violent, but he's said that he would be violent. He wasn't talking about self-defense like you normally would. So, he's the least trouble in this mess. But Mum sided with Sam when he did it, and very recently she's just been excusing violence even more, saying it's alright to be violent in families. My family were violent to me, and my sisters were violent to the other sisters, and my mum, my nan, her mum was gave them a slap or whatever. And it's just that is assault. I mean, over 18 years of age, it definitely is assault. Under 18, your parents should stop you doing that and denounce violence in the house, which is what I've been trying to get her to do. But, I told Mum that stressful day that Sam restarted doing his nonsense, that it was stressing me out, and could she talk to him? And then I noticed she was drinking red wine, which is not a good start to any conversation or serious discussion or anything. I sat down with her to ask if she'd talk to him about it, and she was excusing violence even more, just utterly defending violence against the family, just defending violence in our household, saying it's fine if it happens, essentially. I think what she means is it's fine if it happens to me. If she did it to someone, or if Sam did it to someone, they're fine doing it to someone. They're fine attacking people and physically assaulting them. But if I do it, then it's not fine, sort of thing. I would never preemptively do that to someone, because, watch my violence video to find out when it's acceptable to use violence, mainly in self-defense. But you should never be violent to your friends and family. Anyway, yeah, she was in a drunken stupor defending violence. But even though she was drunk, I do believe that she meant what she said, because she couldn't just come out with that out of nowhere. So I think that's what she believes. My mum believes it's okay to commit violence in our family, and I never as a kid ever thought that my mother would be capable of doing that. And now here it is, she is. And well, as for Dad, you know, I love my dad, but you know, he shut down the job I was in and moved me to the other shop. That was because of cash flow issues. And then since I had to work in our other shop that we kept open, I had to work with him. For some reason he wanted me working on the same days as him all the time, and he put all 4 heaters in the shop on in winter, to the point where he made the inside of the shop like the hottest day of summer. And I was like, this is intolerable to work in. So I had to literally wear summer clothes like shirt and shorts, and I had to, on the hottest times he did it, I had to drench my shirt in water and put it on, which is something I only ever reserved in the other shop I worked in for hottest days of summer, heatwave days, trying to cool down. But I was doing this in winter because he had all 4 radiators on. And it's because his body's different from mine. He refuses to put fat on. He's like very skinny and frail, and the cold affects him way more than a normal person. So no one else would need to put like that amount of radiators on. He does it in the home now. I mean, it's basically the start of summer now, and he's still putting all the radiators in the house on. But yeah, he drove me out of the shop because it got to late spring and it was hot outside, and he was still putting all 4 radiators on inside. And I got to the point where I was doing manual labour work. I was shifting boxes and putting stock on table, and it was intolerable. Like, it was impossible to work. You know, the heat rises and you forget things, and your mind stops working properly, and you slow right down. You can't do your job. It's not possible to keep going. And I tried to tell him that. At the moment I felt it was far too much, and he didn't listen. He wasn't reasonable. He was like, if you don't like it, get out. And I was like, oh, fine then. I had to leave. And yeah, you know, if it's impossible to work in the shop, I mean, he wasn't being reasonable. He didn't like go, okay, well, I'll put you on a different day and then you can have no radiators on and I can have all 4 radiators on my lone days. He didn't give that offer. He didn't give the offer of like, I will just put my radiators on in the back of shop and I'll be there, and you have no radiators on in the front of shop and you be there. He didn't compromise or give any options. He was just like, nope, it's insanely impossible for my body to persist through like heat wave conditions. That's not something my body is able to like push through. So yeah, I was flat hunting during that time because the estate agents want you. It's nonsensical because I have way enough money in the bank to pay for a flat for like 2 to 3 years, but the estate agents want you to be in employment before they'll let you take on a flat. So I can't even flat hunt, so now I've gone to job hunting, and that's what I've been doing this past time. And I asked a place recently that was quite positive. I've been asking lots of places in the area. There's a lot less stuff here than there was when I was in Bath. Just check my bag's still there. Never know. So I just try what I can, and after social justice and stuff, I like after 2015 everything's just way harder to get a job and get a flat. But I'm trying, I'm asking, and I'm hoping for a bite. I'm hoping for someone to say yes, and then I'll try and, you know, fit into their lifestyle, how they work, and get the cash flow coming in again. And then eventually I can start flat hunting again if I get that stable enough. And, you know, my goal is to move out as soon as it's possible to move out. But, you know, since Sam started all this property violation bullshit, I've, you know, been in touch with locksmiths. I'm trying to, I don't have there's like an old lock on my door that's been like sealed over, and I was talking to a locksmith about it, and he says he could repair it, and then we don't have a key, so he'd make a new key, and then when that's in place, then I'll feel a lot more secure, and I'll be able to do a lot more of what I'm doing here, because I know he wants to own the house, and he wants to steal property, and he wants to vandalize property, and I can't allow that. I can't, I feel that's really what he wants to. He wants to do a lot of things to me just because I breathe is an insult to him. As long as I exist and I breathe, and like if I'm in sight of him, he's just like, I have to do things to him because he exists, sort of thing. And I can't fucking live in this hostile, stressful environment like this with that kind of thought process going on. He never used to be like this. Yeah, anyway. So that's my situation, basically. It was going to be brief, it got a bit rambly and ranty. So anyway, this was the family vlog. So that's the bad shit that's going on with me right now. Like, when I talk to like conservatives and people like that, they don't want to let anyone believe that family disintegrations happen, or that you can live a good life when your family collapses. A lot of people's families collapse, and I don't think it's a fault of their own, and I don't think they should be blamed for it. I don't think they should have any lack of a good life because of that happening to them. So I don't side with the conservatives on that whole point there. And they're gonna see the Steven Crowder thing recently. They're gonna have a hard time living their life with their family if they completely believe that ideology, that bad things can't happen in families. They definitely can, and they do all the time. Your kids get to a certain age when you have them, and things will change, you'll see. Catch you all later. I'll probably do another ranty vlog about something that's going wrong in my next life update. See you all later. Thanks for watching.